Trump shutdowns, net approval rating, we're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point in terms of his popular support. So the bottom line is this: the first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all.
This is Lifeline for Liberty, where silence ends. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Well, there it is, y'all. They shut down the government to hurt President Trump, obviously. And now I guess we can say unequivocally, officially, it totally blew up in their faces. And of course, as usual, don't just take it from me. No, I'm not your typical left-wing commentator that just makes up facts and spews of biased fantasy. No, we don't just make up stuff here. We actually rely on the data. We rely a lot of the times on left-wing reporting as well. And that's exactly what's going on here. Don't take my word for it. Take leftist CNN, the left's own propaganda arm, now basically admitting that Chuck Schumer's little shutdown here has utterly backfired. They essentially took people hostage, they manufactured pain, and then they thought they could pin it on Trump. They weaponized to shut down yet again, punished their own constituents in a lot of ways, their own voters, who are dependent on a lot of the big social programs, all in this big gamble to demonize the president. This negotiation, instead of leading, they choose theater, and now it's totally boomerang. So you saw in the opening clip, CNN, where they basically admit that the Schumer shutdown isn't hurting President Trump at all, but in fact, doing quite the opposite. And with the optics around the No Kings spectacle, which obviously fell flat, I mean, what a manufactured phony disaster event that was attempting to change people's minds, convince people that the country has turned to fascism. Let's be silly, no kings. And of course, getting completely exposed as a bunch of violent fanatic followers are issuing literal death threats on camera during the No Kings events, and all the calls to violence written on the signage that people were carrying. The government shuts down's real purpose to lay the stage for the No Kings spectacle, and increasingly that seems to be the case. As of now, the report is the Democrats are likely to start opening the government here following the No Kings stunt.
Well, the president has been very active throughout this process, but it's also his position that this is a thing that the Senate needs to work out. A lot of our friends in the Senate have said that it was just bad optics for Democrats to open the government before the No Kings rally, and that now there's a shot that this week things will come together and very quickly the moderate Democrats will move forward and get us an open government, at which point we could negotiate whatever policies they want to negotiate with regular order. Now, I was very pleased to see that my friend Senator Shaheen from New Hampshire, a very sound-minded Democrat, came out and supported opening the government on Friday. So it means that there's sort of cracks in the Schumer armor. I think the Schumer shutdown is likely to end sometime this week. But I can tell you that if it doesn't, if the story that we've been basically hearing from moderates that, look, we just can't do it in front of the No Kings rally, if that ends up not being true, then I think that the White House is going to have to look very closely, along with Russ Vought, at stronger measures that we could take to bring him to the table.
But of course, the timing gives everything away now, doesn't it? Suddenly, right after the No Kings protest, now all of a sudden we're talking about reopening the government. Democrats actually do this, which I fear they really have no choice at this point, especially considering the polling decimation that we're currently seeing and that we've been observing over the last couple weeks. Well, then I think it's going to become plainly obvious that this whole shutdown was not a moral stand, it was a political play. It was a hijacking, a malicious attempt to obtain leverage. They engineered pain to generate polling damage for President Trump. And then comes the government reopening with no actual substantive policies, when I think the backlash is going to hit even harder as people realize the strings that they were pulling. I don't think people like being used very much. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And meanwhile, of course, the flip side of that coin is that President Trump continues to rise. His trajectory is directly inverse to what's happening with the Democrats. They did all of this. Oh boy, the boy who cried wolf. PSYOP after PSYOP. And his approval continues to kick upwards. Thank you for watching Lifeline for Liberty. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments. If you like the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it.